So I had this chick at the bar.
Yeah?
Oh, dude, she was hot. She was just like, hey,
man,
you just want to
awesome.
And I was like, yeah.
Too easy.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
CIB. Hey, where'd you earn that CIB at?
The PX?
What?
What?
do you
It's
mean?
not stolen valor. I bought it with my.
Hey, and good evening. We are live. I just love that intro.
Pretty dope.
They did it. They did an awesome job on that. Scott O and Only Frauds made that for me.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So again, Throat Punch Thursday. We're here. Interviews with real veterans, and we have with us this evening the infamous Dickbag Patrol.
Infamous.
No, infamous, known for his grilling of Kaiser on Fraud or Troll, and I'm going to play some of that as well. But that was really my first introduction to you, watching that and listening to you pick at him a little bit, and then watching him tuck his tail and run like a little bitch.
Yeah, that was.
So how were you associated with that whole thing?
Well, God, I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I'm just shutting the door here. So, I just kind of was hearing. I had disassociated myself from Wrangler's channel. You know, I made his intro for him as kind of a thank you because, you know, they would play my videos in the earlier days, but it was just a little too weird over there. You know what I mean? It just, I mean, I'm sure you do know vets who are like a little too gung ho all the time and stuff like that. I mean, I've known them like where everything is just all about that. And I don't know. And I was just getting that vibe and then just some other strange vibes. So I just drifted off from him. Didn't pay a whole lot of attention to him, to be honest. And to be clear, the reason I gave this guy a chance, as I think we all did, was because Troll vouched for him, you know, and he's kind of a respected guy in the whatever, if you want to call it, a community. And so, you know, give him a chance. I mean, his early videos, his videos are still shit, but like the earlier videos, I try to watch them because I'm trying to support the guy, but like sound's cutting out and it's crappy. And that's why I thought, well, I'll help the guy out, make him an intro anyway. And then I started hearing the rumblings about stolen valor out of the corner of my ear. And, you know, as you know, serious thing to charge somebody with. You don't want to just do it without cause. And then I heard him say something. It was sounding a little more shady, and he said something about not having his DD214s. And I thought, no, in my head, you know, the picture he paints is, you know, war hero, you know, squared away guy. So squared away war hero guy would likely not have his DD214 in storage in another state, right? So that was my first.
The whole storage thing that took me by surprise. I keep mine with all my important documents.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I definitely don't put them in storage, and I definitely don't put them in storage in another state.
Yeah, it kind of is. If you were in the military, I mean, I'm sure there are vets who just probably don't want anything to do else with the military ever and lose it or whatever. But, you know, if you have any sort of interest in, you know, your GI Bill, or your home loans, or anything veteran related, you know, healthcare, you're going to keep that with your Social Security card and your you know, your birth certificate and shit like that.
Yep, marriage license, all that stuff's all in one big envelope.
Yeah. So it seemed a little weird, and then you know, I was getting more and more kind of suspicious. I saw some shit posted in Discord about him not showing the DD214s and some other stuff. I don't quite remember exactly, but I was getting suspicious. So I saw Fraud or Troll, you know, posted a link upcoming link to this thing that he was going to do with Wrangler, and it said, well, about his criminal past. And I was like, well, you know, if this is really stolen valor and it's seeming like it is, I would really like to say something about that. I don't want that to get swept to the side, you know. So I I emailed Troll and asked him if I could come up, and luckily I got on, and luckily I was there. And Dr. Dave, he did a great job hammering him, you know, right off the bat. And Navy Girl, and then she came on and hammered him some more, and he was, you know, it was pretty clear by that point. I mean, I do like to give people the benefit of the doubt, I really do. And I literally just heard about your video in the chat or something. Somebody was saying, oh, this guy Master Sergeant. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. And I looked up your video like while I was, you know, in the middle of the stream, and I was like, all right, well, this motherfucker looks pretty serious. So this isn't looking good for Wrangler at all.
I do take it pretty serious. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he saw the picture of you, that thumbnail of you, and was just like, fuck, this ain't good for me. Because, you know, he was like, well, I gotta go. Like, hey, it'll be interesting to watch, man.
Yeah, we're going to look at it again, and the pauses were just it's just crazy. So basically, he was showing some of your videos, and you made him an intro, which he still uses today.
Yeah.
Even though he's been asked to stop.
Right, and also, you know, you bad mouthing me to people. Like, all right. I mean, I don't care about the intro. That's not what bugs me about it. It's just like, he's just a fucking got no honor, you know, about it. Like, well, everything else in his life. So,
yeah, I mean, he's been a failure all the way through.
Right.
There's, you know, from what what little bit I've heard about his family life when he was growing up and stuff, there's no doubt in my mind his father pushed him to go into the military some type of way or form. And I can imagine, just from what I've heard, he probably got his ass beat when he came home the first time. For whatever reason, it just said in that DD 214 from the Army Reserve that he failed to meet the entry level medical stuff.
mm-hmm.
So there's no telling. I mean, you know, people talk about the beast thing. That could be true, and it may not be. But I guess that's been talked about by family members.
Yeah. I've been told some things that I don't feel cozy saying, because they were kind of, you know, but I believe the source. So, you know, about his dad's behavior towards him and some pretty gnarly stuff. I don't think they seem like a quality family overall, is the picture I get.
Well, I guess Dad was a member of 1% Motorcycle Club.
I'm not familiar with what that is.
It's they're basically they call it an outlaw motorcycle gang is what they term it, but it's a motorcycle club, and they don't. If you look up 1%, it's like the Hells Angels, the Mongols, the Black Pistols. I mean, there's bunches of them, and they're usually in some type of trouble in regards to drugs or murders and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's an outlaw motorcycle club is what it is. And
so it's seeming like the it sounded to me from what I was told like the dad ethics wise didn't have much going on either. Yeah.
It does sound that way. I guess his brother's like the only really good one that came out of the family.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, that happened. You know, sometimes you get like hippie parents, and then a kid will grow up to be, you know, super straight-laced business guy, or, you know, you never can tell, man. Heredity, environment, genetics, all that. You know.
Yeah, it's funny. I got I got a kid I work with. My dad was locking his dad up years ago.
Oh,
'Cause
he's a guy in your force,
yeah.
and he's
So I
locking up
mean,
as the old man.
yeah, his old
Oh
man was a
no.
real turd, and both him and his sister. His sister's a CO, and he's a police officer.
Oh
And
man,
but the old man was just a drunk piece of shit. So
that's got to be rough on the kids, man.
yeah, it does. It really does. But yeah, it kind of sounds like this apple didn't fall too far from the tree,
No,
and good for his brother. I mean, I guess his brother has nothing to do with the family, so
yeah,
that's
that's
always
probably a
good.
smart move, man. I mean, that's a hard place to be, but as
Oh,
hard
I
as
can
it
only
is,
imagine.
that's a good. I applaud anybody that can, because it is your family in the end. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Um,
yep.
but yeah, I have one of my ex brother-in-law. He's a real piece of shit like that. Married a new wife that looks exactly like the old wife to show the old wife what's up, and doesn't have anything to do with the kids he had with the ex-wife, but dotes on his new kids. Shit like that. I mean,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's a hard thing to be able to tell the kid, like, look, and have them understand it. Hey, this is not your fault, and sorry, but your dad is just a piece of shit, and you're gonna have to live with that. It's not easy to.
Yep. Well, I mean, you could choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
Exactly.
So, I mean,
Exactly.
that's there's no truer words than that. And the timing of my video, I don't think it could have got any better
No, man, that was like
because
perfect.
I was totally oblivious to this entire community. I mean, I used to watch Schrodinger's cat every once in a while if I wanted to see somebody get tased.
Right.
Um, but I really wasn't all that auditor, anti-auditor. I'm totally oblivious to 90% of that stuff. And it was funny. I Josh had sicked me on this, and once we got the date of birth correct, and I got the active duty dates and some other information, I was able to go through the Alabama National Guard, and they were fantastic because they gave me everything. Um, and I still haven't got a return yet from NPRC for my third request for a redacted 214 from his second time around. But the NGB 22 is a direct mirror of what that 214 will have on it.
So that's the National Guard one, right? The
Yep.
NG.
Yep.
So he gets that and the DD-214.
Yeah, he gets the DD 214 because he was on active duty, what they call IADT, initial active duty for training. So they get a 214 for that, but they get since he was discharged, he also got a discharge from the National Guard. So,
Yeah,
and it's going to be a direct mirror of whatever's on that other 214. Of course, they didn't have a copy of it because, being the turd he is, he never went back to his unit to out process.
right.
Um,
And somebody
you know,
else, yeah.
so
Somebody
they
else
had
in that.
to chalk it up to a lost cause and SM not available for signature and send it to the last known address. So that happens quite a bit, I guess, in the National Guard and the Reserve. People just stop coming to their monthly required drills or their 2 weeks in the summer or whatever.
That's
So
too bad.
yeah. Let me see if I could share this. I've got it queued up for right as they bring you on, and we can stop it if you want to make any additional commentary to what you had on there. But let me see if I can bring this up. Allow. And this was 5 months ago, according to YouTube. It's probably closer to 6.
Yeah, what was it, like September, right? End of September or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that. I don't even remember when I posted my video. But let's play this.
But if any of this started while you served in the military, I think we got to keep that in the back of our minds.
Oh, let me just
Well, do you have
say
any?
something about this mook.
That's kind of stuff he's already answered about his opiate addiction. Like,
Okay. No, I just want to let him know. Again, I'm a little bit more disappointed than I thought I was going to be, but I still support him. And,
All right.
Just like I'll
And
support
you're a
everybody.
moron.
So,
all right. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
stopping by,
Thanks, man.
Roundup.
Good
Thanks,
job,
guys.
buddy.
All right.
Thank you. Dig Bag Patrol. What's up?
Hey, what's happening, guys?
I just love that. Dickbag Patrol. What's up? Did anybody ever tell you sound like Clint Eastwood?
Yeah. I lay it on a little thick for the videos for the character, but yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely be his voice double.
Oh,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Not much.
So I'm not a drama person. I don't get involved in any of this shit generally, but my ears perked up when I started hearing some of the things about the stolen valor, being that, I'm a vet, come from a military family. So the thing that's been bothering me, Wrangler, is why not just produce your DD-214? I mean, when I got out, it was made pretty clear to me that don't lose this. It was the equivalent of your birth certificate. So it's pretty easy to do. And then I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you said it was in storage somewhere?
Yes, it's in storage in Alabama. I haven't lost it. I tried to print it out, and I tried to print out on my damn award letter from the VA, and I couldn't do it. So I went to the VA, and they told me I had to go to the federal building.
I believed absolutely none of that. I don't know what your take on it was as he was trying to explain that to you.
Yeah, it sounded bullshitty. Like I said, I'm still, I don't know if I'd heard about your video at this point yet, but it sounded, I was like, this doesn't sound super convincing, but let's see where it goes. And then I believe he started blaming it on the drugs and stuff, which again sounded pretty fishy to me, but again, benefit of the doubt until I get the answer in black and white. It's kind of where my head was at, I think.
Yeah, I wanted to blow that up so we could actually see the chat, because a lot of the names in that chat I actually recognize from being on Stone Vats or on mine or on a lot of people's, and then you got like Tube Sock in there. The CIA won't let them produce it, and I mean they were bashing the shit out of him in the chat. And I know you were more concentrated on your conversation with him.
Yeah.
But I digress. Let me continue.
I went to the federal building. I got the award letter. I put it up several times since then. I just haven't had the opportunity to get my damn go to Bama and get it. I had business that me and Kimmy had things that we had to take care of in North Carolina this week, and we didn't even really have a honeymoon.
There's somebody talking about your voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they're right. He should have two, because you get a copy 4 and another copy as well. But the copy 4 is the one you use for all of the like VA loans and stuff like that.
So we were taking time for us. I didn't know any of this was happening.
Yeah.
And
there we go. See, people were popping me in there.
Yeah. I think by my reaction, I think I was probably, definitely in the doubtful stage at this point.
Yeah, and it goes downhill rapidly at this point.
So about the gunshot, was it combat or not?
When you asked him that question, I was
Yeah.
like, all right, this is awesome. This is awesome. He's just freaking going at him.
Yep. Had to happen. You want to answer when you don't answer right away.
I didn't. You dropped out for a second. Get back.
Here we go.
I didn't hear your
Bullshit.
question.
So the gunshot wound. Let's just clear the air. Was it combat related or not?
Yes.
It was.
So you were in combat? Is that what you're saying?
And it's better for you just to
Yeah, it's
air it
better
out
just to
right
say the
there.
truth.
These long
buddy.
pauses. Were,
Yeah, if you say yes or whatever, and then tomorrow somebody finds it's not true, it's
And then you got people like this nitwit. You don't need to prove anything. These people are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then right under it, he was never in combat. And Jim and Jetson there. I mean, there's quite a few people, McAddicks, a lot of people that I recognize the names now after the last 4 or 5 months, people that have actually figured it out.
Yeah.
So you just said yes, I got my injury in combat. So you're saying you got your injury in
All right.
injury in combat?
I guess
Yes
the
or
best.
no?
All right, look. I was
All right.
deployed. It wasn't combat related. It wasn't active It wasn't active engagement with an enemy of this country. But yes,
So
Yeah.
riddle me this, Batman.
Right.
It wasn't an active combat against an enemy of the U.S.
Yeah. Untangle that one exactly. That's like what? That was when I was like, okay. Well, I knew when he was taking a long time to answer too, man. Because vets, if you're really a vet, man, you just rattle this shit off. It's not that hard, you know what I mean? Especially if you're a combat vet. I mean, unless I mean,
the people were great. Look at the Private Michael Kaiser, or Private Keikel Miser was already in there.
nice.
So they had seen my video, and I mean they were just unloading on him. Combat with the neighbor. This is great, but the pauses.
Yeah,
just
Dr. Dave, I
unbelievable.
see he because I didn't, like I said, I was talking, like you said, I was talking to him during this whole time, so I actually haven't seen the chats back like this.
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
the chats are hilarious.
I was
Yeah.
deployed when it happened.
Okay. All right.
Well, I mean, I sincerely hope you're being honest about that, man, because people will dig that shit up. And if
They
it's
can
not,
be my guest.
Yeah, well, they
And then Tats was in there. I mean, just a lot of people just, and then you got Blue Bacon in there.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Not military combat based on the response. Okay, so
Yeah.
what kind of fucking combat would it be?
I suspect it was
Not
combat.
military
Oh, boy.
combat based.
Good instincts there, Bacon.
And how would Bacon know? He's never been in combat.
Right.
But that's a whole nother thing. And I did some work with Blue Bacon on Kaiser. I collaborated with him a couple of times on Kaiser. And I really never had a question about his military career. Sure, it seemed a bit inflated. But Josh went off on him.
Yeah. It didn't seem to. I'm not too deep into his thing. I kind of stopped watching him. To be honest, he's.
Yeah.
My impression of him just generally is he's a little too far up his own ass. You know what I mean?
Well, that would give him a shitty outlook on life, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But boom, I couldn't
What is
help
that? Yeah, exactly. What is Stonebeck calls him, a theater kid? I think that
Yeah.
sounds about right to me. Yeah, he
Yeah,
has
it does.
a lot
It
of
does.
props and morning DJ type of shit. You know, I don't know.
All right,
They
we'll
are.
continue.
I mean, it's
actively
already
looking
it's already done. This guy has your DD214, and I told you I will not speak on it, but I can play his video. He just released it 2 hours ago, and apparently they have your whole history, and there's no mention of combat. I mean, we're gonna watch it in
or
just a
overseas
moment.
deployment.
Well, y'all go right ahead. I mean, like I told you, I've got somewhere I've got to be, and I told you I was going to be able to come up here for about.
There we go. I
Yep.
got somewhere to be. It was his live stream that he was getting ready to put on.
Yep.
So it's just hilarious how this all unfolded, and talk about perfect timing. And then when I saw you get in there and start hitting them with the hard questions, I made my presence known in the chat because, as you can see, my name is highlighted in the chat.
Yeah.
And that's because I was in there watching.
Yeah, and I think when I was telling him, like, I hope you're telling the truth, buddy, because at this point, I may have even, I don't remember where my head was at, but I knew some shit was going down. Oh, that's it. Troll had put your picture up on the screen, and that's what I was thinking. He's fucked because this guy, you know, I mean, you kind of, it's kind of like, yeah, you don't have to. I don't know how to say it, man, but when you're a veteran, you just get a sense about things. I mean, you have a better sense. You had a better sense of Wrangler is bullshit early on, just because you have the real experience. And I don't know how to put it other than when I saw it, I was like, well, first of all, I saw the ribbon rack behind you, and I was like, oh, fuck. And, you know, just your overall demeanor or whatever, I just knew, okay, this guy fucking means business. So I knew his lights were going out after that.
My biggest problem with my Stolen Valor stuff is I'm in what they call a two-party state where both parties have to know they're being recorded.
Right.
And that makes it really tough. I can't, you know, because I've tried with a couple of people. Hey, just so you know, I'm recording this call, and all I get is click.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, because
you
they
might as
just
well wear a flashing light on your head, and
you know, guys like Don Shipley, he's in a one-party state. Steve Anson, Guardians of the Green Beret, one-party state. And so long as the call's initiated from a one-party state, you know, they're good to go. Me being based in a two-party state, and you know, it's funny because I've been in class this whole week. We're doing our annual in-service trainings. I know people think that cops are stupid and we don't get any additional training, but the last 2 days it's been on courtroom testimonies, reports, constitutional law, and a bunch of case law updates. And it seems now a lot of departments here in Massachusetts don't have body cams. It's just because it's a huge expense to do it. And there are some that have, but what seems to be the trend right now is they're trying to get that excluded. The defense is trying to get body cam footage excluded in all trials because it's prejudicial to their clients because it shows the fucking truth.
Right, it shows what the crimes they're committing. Yeah,
can't
have
it's
that.
Kind of funny.
Wow.
But I mean, I wish I was in a one-party state because I'd be calling these guys up, and it's easy enough to get a phone number and find somebody.
Yeah.
But
well, I appreciate you doing it. And yeah, the timing on you coming out with this was just like pretty amazing.
And some of the stuff in the chats, like shot by his own troops, question mark, self-inflicted, which later on we found out it was, but it had nothing to do with the military.
Right.
Call of Duty Roughnecks Edition. Some of this stuff is just, and that's on me. She's, always around. It's just hilarious what goes on in the chat. And I know you were more focused on talking to him and trying to get something out of him, but
Yeah.
we'll listen to him beg his way out of it.
45 minutes. I've been up here 90, almost.
That's fine.
Right. Well, these are extraordinarily important questions, man. If anybody questioned my service, I'd, if it was serious, if it's some jack off, I don't know, who cares? But,
I understand that,
a
DB.
public figure. So if anybody started making this much of a ruckus online on my channel or whatever about me not, first thing I do is just give my DD214, block out my social and post it. And it's, I mean, where's your birth certificate right now? Do you have that with you?
No, I don't have my
where-
birth certificate.
I mean, like your
I'm-
important documents. Why? That has always struck me as odd. I would never, leaving it in a
Because when
store.
I left
very,
Alabama
very
to-
dangerous.
Because when I left Alabama to get clean, I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was
Okay,
going through
that's fair.
withdrawal. I was going through.
All right, I'll accept that.
I wasn't thinking about all that, and I definitely, I said,
I got it. That's a fair answer.
All right, I'll slow down the chat a bit. It's pretty hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right, Wrangler. I honestly, I wasn't trying to ambush you, but the shit with Blackheart Knight really pissed me off, and I didn't think you were. I didn't think you were gonna stay on this long. I think after being confronted about the Blackheart Knight, very sketchy, extremely sketchy fundraiser, you were gonna leave.
and I can see how it would look like that. Absolutely. And did I screw up with Blackheart? Yes, I did. And I probably shouldn't have forgotten. No, there is no problem. I shouldn't have forgotten. All right. I shouldn't have let it lapse. I won't
I actually have another question about that, if you don't mind. So you knew when you took the money, were you aware that your AdSense account was not cleared? That you weren't
No, I didn't know till about two or 3 weeks later. It was about a week or so before I was supposed to get paid from YouTube. And I got notified that, hey, this is being temporarily suspended because my driver's license was expired.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
YouTube suspends your AdSense if your driver's license is expired?
I don't know. I mean, he's.
What if
good
you don't have a driver's license? What if you don't drive?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah. he's good at giving those kind of answers, where it's like, Dave mentioned something about that too. It's like politician type answers.
And
you're just stalling for time, basically, kind of, or trying to confuse the other person. Guess it works on some people. I don't know. But if you notice, he answered that question the way a politician would too. He took responsibility for. Did I make a mistake? Of course I did. That's you hear politicians use that type of shit too when they get caught for stuff.
but
Were mistakes made? Yes.
even on this part of it, there's still a lot of questions. He's not married, no daughter, no puppy, no combat. He was deployed when he finished the tutorial in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
I mean, the chat was just smashing him. And a lot of the people that were in the chat were subscribers of his. So,
Well, that's good. Some people were smart. I wanted to mention that guy who came on right before me, Frauditor Roundup, another Momo. He emailed me after that live. If you notice at the end of it, he was like, "Well, buddy, I still support you." And then he emailed me and he was like, "Hey, what's the deal with this guy?" And I said, "Well, here's the only video you really need to watch." And I sent him your video. And Well, I outlined it too for him. I said basically he stole, everything he said about his military career was a lie, and I don't think did we know about all his other crimes at this point, or did it all come out kind of shortly after this? Right.
I think it kind of snowballed. Some of the crimes were discussed. I didn't watch I didn't go back to refresh on what crimes. I think it was mainly just I don't even think they knew about the murder indictment yet.
Right.
I don't think that had even come up yet.
Yeah.
So, that came out later on with Shiz, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it was
just brought it around up guy. Basically, I sent him your video. I said this guy is not to be trusted. If I was you, I would just sever ties. And then he sent me back something like, something about not liking confrontation, so he probably wasn't going to do anything about. He was. That was the vibe of it, and I still see him associating with Wrangler. So it's like, dude, that's the kind of shit I don't. I mean, some people are just fucking stupid. There's nothing you can do about that.
Well,
and they'll
look
just
at JJ Scarborough. Talk about fucking stupid.
Yeah, and who knows what I can only speculate what kind of twisted shit he gets out of this, But
he's a walking.
When I tell somebody something directly, like, listen, this guy is a piece of shit. You don't even have to believe me. Go look at A, B, and C, and they're still like, whatever. Well, it's not like this guy's a jaywalker. You know what I mean?
JJ's a fucking walking ethics violation. Really?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
when you think about it,
it seems to me, not being a cop or a legal expert, really, that it seems shady at best, right?
Well, association with a known felon with pending felony charges.
Yeah.
And you're on his live stream every night. I'm curious how much he's paying him to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good on the face of it, and it does. I did look up the jailer statutes, and you could make a case. He is, there's 2 sections where he actually violates the rules, as it were, of his job. And one of them is supposed to be punishable by mandatory, like, something. I can't remember what it was, suspension or something, or review. But yeah, it's sleazy, man. And they've given out medical information? Didn't they give out information about
testing?
The Tiffany girls?
Medical test results. And they didn't redact it.
The problem there is, I think Meade County is, I'm not sure it's a place you really want to spend a lot of time, because it doesn't seem like they give too much of a shit about that kind of a stuff.
And the part that really kills me is Meade County is right there at Fort Knox. I mean, Fort Knox is a huge part of their income. So that really, really surprised me that JJ Numbnuts doesn't give a shit about the Stolen Valor stuff. They must have a lot of contact with military personnel. I'm sure they've got a lot of military personnel living in their community, because not everybody lives on base housing. I never lived on base housing. I've always lived out on the economy. So I'm sure there's a lot of people in the community that are military, that if they found out about this, they'd probably raise a stink about it, one way or another. But let's finish up with this
shit
show. Okay, all right. But I didn't think you were gonna stay on this long. So
all right. And then as soon as I went and got one, it took them the better part of 3 weeks to get the PIN number to me, so that I could freaking get my thing monetized. That's why it took me almost 3 months from the time I got monetized to get paid.
Oh yeah, I mean for me too. It took about 2 to 3 months.
That
It's
was
a long
3 months
process.
later.
Yeah.
All right, that was 3 months later, and then the thing jumped off with all my past had come out. I got into explaining all that, and then just dealing with everything else since then. And since it slipped my mind, it completely did.
Yeah.
And
So-
Blackheart never mentioned it to me again. And like I said, it's my fault, and I let it slip my mind.
And there you go. Stone Vet's in there. Show MSG Retired's video.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. Navy girl, she was really pissed.
Yeah, man. She did a great
Shiz
job.
was in there. There were just a lot of folks in there that you know, I see some of them here in the chat tonight. So,
The smart
somebody
people.
somebody in my chat was wanting a recap because he's all right. So this guy, Fraud at Wrangler, starts a YouTube channel, and as he's getting it going, he's spewing out all this bullshit about his military career. He was in 13 years, staff sergeant, 3 combat tours, 2 Purple Hearts, Humvee blown up by an RPG, Ranger. I'm sure there's a bunch of other shit that I'm forgetting about. But that's the recap. And come to find out, he failed basic training twice for medical reasons. So he failed out on weakness. And he still has not, to this day, come clean about lying in regards to his military career. So we just keep recapping it and keeping the heat on and making sure everybody knows that he's basically a lying sack of shit. So that's the recap.
Well said.
Drunk Vet, were you in Operation Urgent Fury? I was. I'm gonna have to get Drunk Vet on here one Thursday because we served about the same time. He came in a couple years after I did. I came in September 78. He came in 81. But yeah, we served about the same time. All right, let's try and get through this because he's going to start whining here in a second about having to leave again.
Yep.
And I should.
The thing that's
And
also disappointing is the fact that
he mentioned
you knew. Excuse me.
that he
Hold
mentioned
on,
it.
Nicole's talking. Nicole's
Excuse me.
talking.
Another thing that is disappointing is the fact that when you found this out, you didn't bother to share this information with Blackheart Knight.
Yeah,
At
did you
least to
tell
let
him
him
like my
know, to
AdSense
inform
account is
him
screwed? I
that-
can't get your money.
Yeah,
He knew it was because he was up on my panels live streaming when I was demonetized.
So are you blaming him or?
Okay, well,
I'm not-
we
no,
just
I-
spoke
it's
to
not a-
Blackheart
it was
Knight,
not a
and he
blame, it
mentioned
was
that he knew
not a-
nothing
It
about
was a
it.
statement of fact. You asked me a question, I answered it.
All right. So do you know about
You
this
asked
guy?
me if I mentioned it to Blackheart that my account was screwed, and yes, I did. He knew it was. One, because I told him.
Well, I don't know,
And two,
because
it's
Blackheart
not like
Knight was
what's
just
called-
on here. Blackheart
But I
Knight was
do-
just on here, and he mentioned that he was not aware of this account being, of your account being screwed, and he didn't mention that you informed him of any of this. And you also did mention earlier that you finally, had this conversation with Blackheart Knight 5 or 6 days ago when he emailed you.
And as soon as he emailed me, I addressed
Yeah,
it.
which was 5 days ago, which was not in June, as you state that when you got your account fixed, or even back in March or April when you knew that you had an issue with getting your money from YouTube.
Just a second, Nicole,
I'm
before
just
he
saying,
drops.
that's information.
Yeah,
he could've
before he
gave to
drops,
Blackheart Knight.
Wrangler, this guy, are you familiar with this video? It just aired 2 hours ago.
Again, I'm familiar with it, and
But that is one ugly mother up there on the screen. got a face for radio.
You look like you mean business, buddy.
I'm familiar that it's out there. I'm vaguely aware who this individual is.
All right. So apparently he's well researched. So what I'm gonna do when you leave, there's somebody else who wants to talk to you if you have time. I'm gonna play the video and just let this guy speak for himself. It doesn't represent what I think about you, but he seems trustworthy.
You said somebody had another question for me.
Yeah, Bill Thunder Muffin.
Oh, Biff.
Biff Thunder Muffin.
Hi.
Oh, my bad.
Hi. Sorry about that.
But let me say this one last thing in the only thing that I can offer as a defense with Blackheart is, yes, letting it lapse, slip my mind, whatever you want to call it. I screwed up. But as soon as he brought it to my attention, I addressed it and rectified it. And even paid him more than he was asking me.
I did include that in my video for tomorrow.
Push me on here with.
Sorry?
I didn't know that the whole thing, the paying him and all of that was being used to freaking burn me with tonight.
I mean, dude, it's 6 months later.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
very
how.
shocking.
That's not how you run
Information.
charities.
Exactly.
That's
So-
not how you run charities. That's not how you run fundraiser, dude.
I don't run a charity.
You ran a fundraiser for
If you're
him.
collecting
That
money
is
for
not.
someone, you're running
That
a
is,
fundraiser.
dude.
Exactly.
Biff, I'm gonna have to mute you just for a second while we're. Is it you that has all that? Yeah, it was. I'll put you back online in just a second, dude. Like, you can't make excuses about that. You were owning up to it before. Don't. Like,
No, make no mistake. I screwed up.
there's no way he was going to incriminate himself with that. Like, it's a good try, dude. There's no statute of limitation on murder.
Oh, maybe the murder was out.
Yeah, I wasn't. I'm trying to think. I don't think I was really aware of that.
No, I didn't either. But I think this was a message from Shiz.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I think
since
that's
then.
a
Yeah,
message. I think that's a message he sent to Shiz.
yeah, it's an old Discord message.
Murder, so there's no way he was going to say anything about that.
Oh, and I did send you a screenshot with Valcax's PayPal from March. That does show that he did not have any funds. So,
Okay,
just
so you're saying he didn't receive any money from the fundraiser. Is that what you're saying?
yeah.
All right. Well, I said if any. So
I just wanted to make sure
him,
that was out there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put him in the same boat, but yeah, I'm not saying he would have kept the money, and now with these screenshots, I'll put a pinned comment in tomorrow's video just to clarify it. But yeah, so I think Digbag, or Biff, did you have any more questions for him?
No, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come up.
All right, thank you. Cindelution, your super chat is here. I have 29 backed up. It's just like, I don't want to be a channel that just like, I want to focus on the content, and I will read the super chats. But Cindelution, I don't see yours. But anyways, I'm gonna start reading them. And yeah, Cindelution, I don't see yours. But there's 29 messages here, so I will get through them and we'll see if it's there. So anyways, Wrangler, I'm gonna play this video. You want to stick around, or?
I got other things I got to do, man. But I told you I'd and take my ass whooped.
See, Frauditer Troll kind of gave him an easy out. You want to stick around? He should have said, no, you need to stick around.
Yeah, and that was what I was trying.
This is when you're going to get on his ass about it.
Yeah,
and he exits stage left pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. I would recommend staying around till the end of this video at least, so you can address what he says in the video. Otherwise, people are just going to have more questions.
And then they can, if they have questions, they can come to me, Digbag. The problem is nobody's coming to me. They're addressing the shit on YouTube, and
Right.
where
Well,
is
that's
it?
because it's a public forum. So you know, we're wanting
Actually,
to hear these.
private-
And if you got nothing, to
forum.
hide, you know what I mean? I encourage you to stick it out to the end of this video and then respond.
Yeah. And just before we do that, there was I did.
So some of the stuff in the chat, knock it off, private. I mean, you can tell these people have watched my video.
Nice.
But yeah, he just can't wait to get off.
Oh yeah. I'm a YouTuber, but I don't want to discuss anything on YouTube.
Yeah, they could have come to me. However, all of the shit that you're claiming is out there in the public.
Yep.
So I debunked all of it in public.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly. Classic grifter.
I get an email from NCR
Yep.
saying he wanted to talk to you about that thing, but we're not gonna give that much to
And I addressed that freaking months ago, and I never got an answer.
All right.
And again, for the record, you can ask Dummy this, and he said it on my stream many times when I played his videos, that I'm free to use any of his content that I want to. When I got that picture of Joey Surreal off Google, I had no idea it was. I came up here because I felt like I owed you. And
you don't owe me anything.
I feel like that.
I think you owe Vets an explanation here.
Yeah, you don't owe me shit. You do not owe me anything. Your channel is your legacy. You built it. Like, I brought you on as a co-host. I didn't make videos for you. You made your own videos. You made your own live streams. You don't owe me shit. But you do owe the community an apology, and you did it. So, I mean,
and Josh, I offered. That's been offered and accepted many times in the last 3 months since this came out, bro.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I mean, tonight there's a lot more that came out. There's the fundraiser, the sketchy fundraiser. There's, some stuff about the.
And out of what, 150 plus live streams, that was it.
What do you mean? Like, dude, that's unacceptable, man. That's unacceptable.
And I screwed up, and I own that. I screwed up with Blackheart.
All right, man. All right.
That's the only.
It wasn't intentional. It wasn't trying to. It wasn't trying to screw him over.
All right. Anyways, all right. So I'm gonna play the video, but yeah, I'm gonna read the 29 super chats.
Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, you see, at least I didn't bring this idiot to bash you. I didn't go like some other people in our community and team up with frauditors to rip out one of our own. So I hope you can at least appreciate that. And this idiot over here, Nightmare Fraudit.
I don't false judgment from a damn white beater.
Yeah. His pass is well. I mean, he was found not guilty, or this thing was dropped. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, he's a piece of shit. That's for sure.
Distraction.
Yeah, reality check. We don't need to crucify the guy. Yeah, we're not crucifying him, but at the same time, are we just as bad as frauditors, that when someone in our community does shady ass shit that we just ignore it and turn a blind eye? Are we really that shitty? Like, come on, man. Like, True. Yeah, you're saying they want blood. Yeah, you pissed off a lot of people, man. A lot of your subscribers and my subscribers are pissed off. So, I mean, sure, if you guys want to unsubscribe, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say I appreciate you at least letting me come up. I know you were going to do the live stream, and like I said, you asked me to come up. I did, and Big Bag Patrol will have the greatest respect for you, sir.
Yeah,
I really, man.
I bet you that made your entire night, didn't it?
Oh yeah.
He has the utmost respect for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so thrilled.
Fuck. If he had any respect for anyone at all, he would have just come out with it and said, "Yep, I lied about all of that stuff."
Yeah, he does not know the meaning of the word.
Because 5 months down the road, guess what? I'd be a distant memory. Once somebody comes
Exactly.
out and they give an apology, and I believe it to be a heartfelt, or in his case, he doesn't have a heart, but
Right. Or a
they
conscience.
come out with a public apology, in his case, which would require him to make a video saying, listen, in regards to all of my military shit, I lied about all of it. I had another guy, Silverback, this Antoine something or other. He was, spewing all this special forces shit and blah, blah, blah. And I don't talk about him anymore ever since. I mean, he made a video. It took him 3 tries because he was still dancing around the topic. He was a veteran, but he was never special forces, never even attempted the selection. And all the shit that he was spewing didn't make any sense anyway. It was all craziness. But he made the apology. I'm not highlighting any of his stuff anymore. I still watch his channel every now and then just to make sure he hasn't fallen back into his ways of military tales. But yeah, I mean, I'd be a distant memory to him now. But instead, it's just keeping the heat turned up.
Yeah.
And,
imagine the sense of inadequacy that these guys must have to fucking have to make shit like this up. I mean, it's just, and
Jeremy DeWitt's a prime example.
Right.
These guys are like 2 peas in a pod. They're looking for that unearned adornment from others.
Yeah.
And it's pretty bad. I'm not gonna, and we're definitely not gonna watch my video on here.
Can't stress how much I'd like you to clear the air about what this guy says, like publicly now. Like, I mean, because I don't want, like I said.
Like, how about this? I'll hold up reading the super chats and we play 5 minutes of the video. How about that?
Josh, I've got somewhere to be. I'm already late.
All right. I won't hold you up. All right. No problem. All right. Okay. Thanks for
anyway.
joining.
Well,
all right.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. So thank you, Wrangler, for stopping by. Yeah. Oh, Wrangler, you're still there? Wrangler, you're still there?
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, if you hear me, I just want to say that out of our community, like you're the biggest fraud that came out of it, man. And I wanted to say that before he left, but massive fraud. Like, not who you pretended to be at all, not one bit. All right. Okay, so let me read these.
So
he switched it to
I'm going to go a little bit farther up.
To subscribe to MSG Retired. I'm going to give you a subscribe right now.
This is when I made my.
So just to clarify, because someone is slandering you that you doxed him, he obtained his info to be able to do the FOIA request. That way I can. Oh, there it is. I'm not a robot. I don't think. Yeah, I know you're getting dragged into a little bit of drama, and I know you turned off the comments on your video. You're not a drama guy, but unfortunately, that's what's going on tonight. So anything you want to say about this guy, Michael Product Wrangler? Oh, you're muted.
I wasn't teching real well.
All right, well, we'll
That's
play
it.
the video. We'll wait till your audio gets fixed.
On the he had a medical issue, whatever that may be, and it was bad enough during basic training that they actually and that's all. Oh, but you know what? I did find an award that Kaiser got.
Oh yeah,
I did, and one of my people from Discord or one of my subscribers was the one that dug this up, and yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Almost served.
Yeah, we should make a should make a Wrangler uniform. Put some shit like that on it for him. That's hilarious. What
But
a
hey,
momo.
let's. So yeah, I'm glad we brought all this back up again, and I'm so glad that you accepted my invite to come on tonight.
Oh
But
shit, man.
let's get to the lighter side of it. So,
Yeah.
like I said, and we're already at an hour, but I don't care because this was a good highlight for everybody, and it's just a good refresher.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about your military. So you were in the Navy.
Yeah. It was only in a couple of years. It was around the first Gulf War, 92,
Yep.
94. There was, they were trying to boost the enlistment numbers. So they were offering people kind of shorter enlistments.
Yep.
And, you could get the GI Bill and, just do in and out if you wanted. You went in unrated, meaning you didn't have a specific job. And then in my case, I was assigned to an aircraft squadron and I was kind of allowed to bounce around from shop to shop. So I spent time with like the ordnance men and the guys who do the LOX tanks.
Yep.
I can't remember the rate for that. Sorry, guys. It's AMEs maybe, but they did the ejection seats and all that shit. Yeah, really, I mean, you can't fuck around with either of those. Well, you can't really fuck around with any of the jobs there, but I think I passed on working for them when I went out with one of the petty officers, one of the senior petty officers, to actually like refill the LOX at the LOX farm or whatever they called it. Big cage off the flight line. We had, he's like, now if I catch on fire, just run back to the hangar waving your arms, say petty officer Wright's on fire, petty officer Wright. So I was like, yeah. And my old man, he was an officer, but he had started out enlisted and worked his way up. He was the first guy in his family to ever go to college, and he got a fucking degree in nuclear engineering. So really sharp guy. My dad was great, and he went to officer candidate school, and he became a flight officer. So he was telling me, because I grew up, he's an officer, you're a little higher up in rank, so people be saluting him all the time and stuff like that, and so my dad was trying to stress to me, it's not going to be like that, son. He didn't really push me one way or the other to do it. He was just like, sure, I guess if you want to, but so where was I going with that? He didn't really push me into it. I ended up in supply basically. So that's my exciting military career. It was mostly going to fetch shit. Although I did spend a lot of time on the boat, Carl Vinson aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And the ship at that time, they were still going out of Alameda because they hadn't, even though our squadron was in North Island, San Diego, they hadn't trenched out under the Bay Bridge yet. So the ships were still moored at Alameda. And it was pretty fun being on the boat, but you would be surprised how many levels there are on an aircraft carrier, and you can keep going down and down, and the ladder wells, and the stairwells, they keep getting more and more, the angles keep getting, more and more vertical until you're down like way, way down in the bowels of the ship. It was fun.
I mean, I went on the Yorktown, the museum ship that's in Patriots Point, in South Carolina, and I was amazed at that. And that thing, you could put like 4 of them in one of today's carriers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it
I was
still
amazed at that.
pretty. When you're on it, you're like, oh shit, this is a real thing. This is pretty fucking impressive, right? Then you go on a carrier and it's like a kind of a floating city. You know, it's crazy. But my dad had, he was way back. He was like on the Constellation, and mostly, and they take off and land on the fucking deck of a boat, man. And until you're up there, kind of up close to it, you don't really get how fucking crazy and intense that is, man. They're just grabbing onto an arresting wire going across, the deck, and it's pretty white knuckle shit, man. I mean, it's pretty intense, and it's loud as fuck up there too. I mean, just the noise is intense, and the heat, the fucking engines, and the gasoline smell. It's crazy. The flight deck of an aircraft carrier is actually one of the most dangerous places to work in the world.
Oh, I can imagine. Did you was your dad still in service when you served?
Mm-mm.
No,
he was a couple of years out at that point. He was working for a government contractor. He transitioned into that. Actually, he was one of the kind of pioneer in the UAV field. He didn't like to call them drones; they were UAVs.
Yeah.
But he was a super cool guy. Unfortunately, he died of cancer about 10 years ago. But he always told me, listen. He would say that the Chiefs. Just remember when I went in, he was just like, remember the Chiefs. They run everything. All right. Listen to your chiefs. You know what I mean? So
yep.
If for those of you who don't know, Master Sergeant is the Army equivalent of a Navy chief, which is like, so they're like
senior chief.
Yeah. Oh, you're senior chief, right?
Yeah.
E7.
E8.
Oh, E8. Oh, wait. So senior chief, that would be, I think that's Master Chief, isn't it? I think.
No, Don Shipley was an E8. He was a senior chief. So you got,
E7.
E7's a chief petty officer, and then because my father-in-law was a chief on submarines.
Yeah,
and
that's a crazy job too, man. Living on a fucking sub.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So my wife's a Navy brat, and he retired. Well, he retired long before we ever met. But I mean, he started in diesel boats. So
wow.
And then my stepfather-in-law, he was the command master chief on the Nimitz.
Holy shit. That's impressive.
Yeah. So that side of the family's all, other than my niece, she went Army, and she had a couple of combat tours, but she got more balls than Kaiser.
Yeah, absolutely.
She didn't fail out of basic training twice.
Right. But yeah, point being, the chiefs, the master sergeants, those guys are the glue that fucking makes everything work in there. So that's why, when somebody says they're a chief or master sergeant, something like that, you automatically, even officers, man, they have a bit of deference to that, you know what I mean? Because they know the fucking deal. They know you guys are the ones that fucking make everything fly, Well,
we take what, when I was a platoon sergeant as an E7, of course, my lieutenant would get stuff from the commander. He would give me his intent, and I would make sure it gets implemented. That senior NCO ranks, that's where it comes down from the officers, and then it gets put into practical implementation or what have you. But yeah, once I made E8, it was kind of funny. I had to go to, I went to a couple of different bases, and it was really kind of funny because some of the junior officers, they'd see me coming and they'd cross the street just so I wouldn't salute them.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to have, they tried to stay away from the grumpy old crusty master sergeant.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. We were kind of like the Anyway, they
Well,
just
you guys don't, like I said, you mean business. You're the don't dick around guys. You know.
yeah, pretty much. It's like just get it done and don't fuck up.
Yep.
So that's pretty much what we do. But the Navy, I mean, you know, that time you spent in the Navy, it's pretty intriguing that they let you go in unrated and then they let you kind of feel your way around and figure out if you decided to stay, some type of field that you might want to. I guess you'd test into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could. I would have taken like the petty officer test for, you know, whatever AK or whatever shop I expressed interest in. I guess. Yeah, they were pretty good about it. Of course, when it got to be short time, and the time I was in, was pretty much all the workups to the Westpac. So then, kind of not. When you're short timing it and you're a lowly nobody like me, I got shit canned to first lieutenant, which is janitorial before, because I only had a few weeks of it. But then I decided I'm gonna re-up for the Westpac, because I was like, fuck it, why not, man? It seems like a shame. I spent all this time, you know, going out on the boat. I mean, we were out for a full month almost one time. During the workups. And it's funny, the longer you're out without replenishing, the worse the food gets. Like, you start out with real eggs and then eventually you get down to like powdered eggs and spam and shit.
Don't say eggs. Don't say eggs. I see Wally in the chat because those eggs
Wally
will be impregnated.
Yeah.
Ladies, hide your eggs. Just by mentioning Wally's name, I heard women can get pregnant.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I've been ignoring my chat completely. I'm sorry. But this just caught my attention. Bree's husband was a drill sergeant at Knox, and he said the cops down in Meade County used to treat the privates really bad by arresting them and giving them high fines and high bonds. Why does that not surprise me?
Yeah, I got a bad impression of Meade County already. Hate to, you know, be unfair to the place, but if these are the guys in charge.
Yeah, it's and you know, and it's funny because you really shouldn't be biting the hand that feeds you, because if Fort Knox were to go away, Meade County would blow away. Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the loss of income for that area would be huge. It's like Anniston, Alabama, when Fort McClellan closed as an active duty base. They took a really big hit, as do any of the places. When Fort Devens closed, if you go up in the Air Mass, I mean, there's really nothing there. And everybody had to go elsewhere to find work, or, you know, a lot of the businesses just kind of closed up. So it's interesting how much a military installation, how much income it brings to an area.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's made a lot of times bases will come into the Patuxent River, Maryland, for example. Like, my dad was stationed there for a minute, and that whole area was nothing but like inbreds and oystermen and shit like that, shit kicking tobacco farmers. And when the military came in and bought the land up from them sometime in the 60s, like, a lot of these local yokels got rich, you know. But then the surrounding area will keep getting built up to the point where it's, you know, it's basically creating the economy in that area, like you're saying.
Yeah, it is interesting. And here's another thing. Now, I was at Campbell. I was a Garrison MP when I was at Campbell. I did the law and order. I was part of FORSCOM, and we did all the law enforcement on the base. And that doesn't surprise me. We had, I can't remember what the name of one of the little towns was. It was right outside of Gate 4. If Gate 4 used to be like the main gate at Campbell. And but on another note, when I was there, most of the guys that were on that police department were MPs at one time that were stationed at Fort Campbell. So I don't know if they were being dicks just because they could or what.
Yeah, I wonder how much of like JJ is frustrated military guy. Like,
well, he was a diesel mechanic according to his bio,
and
then he became the jailer. So he had a good background to base his election as jailer.
Yeah. Well, it looks like all that the Meade County government office hub is sort of, with the sheriff and the DA and whatever is all in the same building. So, and those are a lot of times those are just like old boy clubs sort of, or good old boy.
Yeah.
County names,
But I think law enforcement gets a bad name around any military installation, and most of it rightfully so.
Is it a matter of them not knowing how to interact with the local authorities?
I think so. I was at Hunter Army Airfield, and we didn't have that many problems with Savannah Police or the Chatham County Police. They were actually they were pretty respectful of anybody who was in service. Of course, we had knuckleheads. I had one knucklehead that was out on Tybee Island drunk with some girl in the car, and they pulled him over, and he jumped out of the car and ran into the marsh. And it's like 3 or 4 miles through the marsh to get back to the mainland. And he went through the marsh and showed up for formation the next morning. And
Wow.
the police had already called the first sergeant and said, yeah, we need to see this young man as soon as he shows up. So I had to take him out to Tybee Island to talk to the police.
Oh, man.
They didn't charge him with the OUI, but yeah, that was not a good look.
Now, do you got because I think if any shit like that happened in the Navy and you were, you'd have to go through captain's mast additionally.
Yep.
So you guys have the equivalent of that?
Yeah, it's the commander could put you up for an Article 15. It's the same. The captain's mast, usually they go in front of the commander, I guess, and then he decides what kind of punishment he's going to give. We don't really have that, but the commander will recommend or will actually non-judicial punishment. NJP, as Stone Vet always says, because he's got that Bronze Star NJP. Those are guys that have got a Bronze Star and have an NJP. So I guess I could be a guest on there because I've got both.
Nice.
But that's crazy. Anyway, we've been going about an hour and 20 minutes, which is a little bit longer than usual. But I knew tonight was going to be a little bit longer just because, my first interaction with you was on that live stream. And I was very impressed that you were hitting him with the hard questions because Predator Troll was kind of dancing around it a little bit. And,
it was a little frustrating. To his credit, he did mostly stick with it. I think his wife was a little more challenging to wrangler. Somebody commented that in the comments earlier. And
yeah,
that's absolutely right. She was
any
she was-
confrontation with a female, and he loses his shit.
yeah, yeah. These guys and their mommy and daddy issues.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I'm gonna throw up my my intro again for our exit. So just hang with me for a little bit, everybody. If you got any questions before we sign off tonight, really quickly, if you got any questions for Dickbag, throw them down in the comments right now, because I've been ignoring you guys. I don't want to end up having to fight a chat. But if you have any just screaming questions,
If anybody wants to know anything about swabbing a deck, now you can.
and I don't see anything. So with that, we're gonna play my lovely intro one more time. And Dickbag Hangout, thanks so much for coming on. And
Yeah,
everybody,
thank you,
thanks
man.
for tuning in. And we'll be back next week with another vet for you.
So I met this chick at the bar.
Yeah?
Oh, she was hot. She was just like, "Hey,
Oh, man,
you just want to
awesome.
And I was like, "Yeah."
Too easy.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
CIB. Hey, where'd you earn that CIB at?
The PX?
What?
What? It's not stolen valor. I bought it with my. Oh!